She's a Syrian ex-junkie, glamour, butch, lesbian, punk rock and roll musician. Raya Elias has lived enough lives for us all. She's in Australia to talk about, well, whatever we want to know. Ahlo sahle.
Ahleen usahleen.
Welcome to Better Reading TV, and thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me. What an honor.
Well, it's a pleasure. I feel the honour is all mine. I really do. I took the book home and I read it, last night, and I started at about 10 p.m. And after I read the first, I think it's the first or the second chapter, which was so shocking and so confronting, I had to put the book down, to recompose myself and start reading. It's a hard life that you have lived.
Putting my story out there, I found that people have come out of the woodwork. People that are in my family's community, you know, that have never really spoken to me much, or we've never really connected on anything, and they have read the book sort of in secret. And then I'll be at an Syrian party, and someone will come up to me and say, my brother's son was a heroin addict, and we sent him to Kuwait, and he's, and I'm just shocked. And they're crying, and they're saying thank you for helping me to understand that it's not just willpower, that there's a bigger, that, what happens is it ricochets into the family.
It does.
And it really affects everyone.
I've got to say, I'm from a Lebanese background. I was born here, but my family came to Australia. But I still feel that I don't belong here.
It has been a strong thread through my whole life, is that I never feel American enough, and I never feel Syrian enough.
That's right.
And, it's such a hard place to be, which is why I sort of found New York, because New York was so diverse. You can be anybody. Yeah. And at any given moment, if I need to be Syrian, I can be Syrian. بحكي عربي, بحكي حلبي.
بحكي عربي منيح.
بحكي عربي منيح وبحكي حلبي كمان. Or if I'm in in a club with Americans, I can speak the best and undetectable English, right? Because I forced myself to do it.
Yeah.
So I can be undetectable.
Oh, you certainly don't have an accent, yeah.
I look at people and I think, when they're just like, I'm American, I'm from Connecticut, I'm from Texas, I'm from, and it's just a sure thing. And I always think...
It's a sure thing. I've never described it as that, but it is a sure thing. I like that, yeah. Do you know also the lunches? I mean, really, the lunches, they were a trauma in my primary school, because my mother would make us falafel rolls, she would make us exotic, what was yours?
Fried lamb brain sandwich. Fried lamb brain, which I loved.
Exactly.
Well, we got to Detroit.
Beautiful sandwiches.
And my father said, down at the Eastern Market, they sell lamb brains, and they're cheap because, back home, it's a delicacy. It's so expensive, and we would only have it on very special occasions. Yeah. We were buying it all the time. My mother was putting fried lamb brain sandwiches in pita bread and sending us off to school. And, and there's that moment where you look around and you realize that everybody has salami or peanut butter and jelly, or...
Like even the sharing of, putting things on a platter and helping yourself. I mean, it just was so uncommon here.
Absolutely. And for us, it's love.
So you go to New York by yourself?
I go to New York by myself. I'm in the hair industry. I moved there because of a wonderful Lebanese woman named Heidi.
Yes.
And
I liked Heidi.
And I love Heidi. love you, Heidi. And she, offers me this job in Connecticut, and that was the only way that I could actually have my parents allow me, for them to let go. And once I got there, I just realized, oh my God, this is exactly what I want. And, I was in a band, and I wanted to do fashion, and so New York was
Why did you muck it up then?
Because I thought that I wanted to feel and experience everything that I never got a chance to experience before that. It seemed like everyone was using drugs and having it just, everything was so extreme.
I mean, it seemed to me at one point you were just taking everything.
Everything. I was a
Everything.
garbage head.
But you were looking for feeling.
Yeah.
You were looking for emotion.
Which is so funny, isn't it? Because it devoids you of any.
Of all of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So I always say, you know, my favorite line to say is, you know, if you're really looking for feeling, try life out on life's terms, because you're going to get it straight to the gut, right? It cuts the deepest. That's where the edge is. I mean, you know, at the end, I sort of dared myself. I was like, okay, Rhea.
Because you were numb to everything at the end, just numb to everything.
And what had started being this incredible full life with these incredible people at clubs
Great
and parties and
opportunities.
great opportunities, and, you know, being standing in the middle of Andy and John Cage talking at a bar, and all I wanted to do was go to the bathroom and do another fix. Could you imagine how much I would have learned? That always ended up in the same place, alone on a bathroom floor, in a shitty little place, right? Alone. And so it came to where everybody left me, everyone, my family, my partners, my lovers, everybody. And I ended up really alone. And it was, you know, I had to take a really hard look and say, this is the only place you're ever going to end up. And you've taken this thing to every bottom, including a lot of trapdoors, right? So you can stay here and suffer, because this is all you're going to do. Or there's this other thing that they call getting clean, like life without drugs. And it's going to be hard, but why don't you be brave?
I'm so glad to see you so well, so beautiful, so lovely, so smart, and on a book tour, and that you pulled it together. And, you know, I feel that you're just so extraordinary, you know.
Thank you.
If you haven't read it, you've really got to read it. Harley Loco, I just loved every word of it. Rhea Elias, thank you so much. Shukran.
Thank you. عفواً.
coming.
شكرا. أنا بدي أقول لك شكرا. ميرسي كتير 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 كتير.
Thank you, Habibda, and thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks very much, and thanks for joining us on Better Reading TV.